It looks like you're a little bit excited with the Solana.
Solana is fun. I mean,
yeah. What do you think? Why it's so popular? Because from my perspective, let's say Bitcoin, this is a fully decentralized. Ethereum, it's like a builder for everything, and the Solana, this is like, like a big computer that solves very common problems. And the more power they get to this computer, the faster it works. But it crashes all the time. It stops all the time. But what I saw in English space, also in Twitter, all these meme coins on a Solana. I think you saw the Book of Meme, smaller coin, Boba Opa. The guys raised tens of millions of dollars for nothing. And this all on Solana. And I see how the Digans, the guys who spend a lot of time in Ethereum and digging deep there, they started to move to Solana. What happened, man? Why Solana is so popular on this cycle?
Recently, there's been a lot of congestion. A lot of the transactions fail. They don't go through. You have to keep on hitting retry. But look, these things are good problems, I think.
This is a problems of growth.
These are problems of growth, right? You want these kinds of problems. You don't want the other problem is no one using it. What do we do, right?
Yeah, I get it.
This one is very interesting because I think there's an opportunity for the Solana teams and all the community to figure out how do we either allow for fees to be prioritized or not, or how do we make the nodes themselves a little bit more powerful. It's a good problem to have. And we've seen on our wallet also, which supports Solana, we've seen a lot of this activity too. The meme coin stuff, very popular, like you said, but I think it's more importantly, some of the applications on Solana, Jupiter, some of these DEXs.
They're growing faster.
Exactly, and the ecosystem is there, right? And which allows for these meme coin community members to come in and very quickly, if the transaction works, very quickly get involved and you can start small, right? And the fees are relatively low. It's a great example of something that's trending well.
What can you say about the trend for the options? Because you know that in the traditional markets, the options covers 80% of the whole trading volume. But in the crypto field, at the same moment, the options, this is an instrument for professionals like institutional investors, like funds, etc. What do you think about the options for the retail in a crypto market? Is it possible to them to grow or to become a new futures or not? Because I think that from the trader side, the traders are a little bit exhausted with the futures.
You mean exhausted as in they're bored, or
they lost a lot of money. They're looking for something new. Also, you know that Bybit, they try to implement the futures with the options hedge. Like when you open a long position, it opens a future. So I understand why, because if the trader lost 100% of the deposit, he's gone. But if he lost 85% of the deposit, he still has 5%.
I see.
And then he maybe had to top up. The lifetime of the traders, of the failure traders, I think will grow. This is my thoughts.
I don't know what they're working on specifically, but from our side, on the option side, I think ultimately it takes time for these markets to develop.
Sure.
I think in TradFi, the market structure is very, very different. The players are very different. The use cases for options are actually very different. I used to be in equity derivatives at an investment bank before crypto.
Oh, okay.
Even pension funds, they would use options to get a little bit of extra yield by writing options. We don't have these players in the crypto space yet. There's also other products in crypto that act like options, right? Like you mentioned the futures. We know about the perps, right? There are instruments where traders can already get the type of payouts and leverage that they want. And so the option market as a result hasn't quite developed yet. But just wait. I think we will see some. I was reading that people are working on options for the Bitcoin ETF, for example.
Well, that's what I want to ask. How Bitcoin ETF affects your business? Is it generate some new users or something like this? Or you did not see a difference after that?
For us, because we don't operate in the US, OKX,
not a lot change.
Not that much change, but what we did see was a lot of the conversations we had with institutions. I think the tone has shifted. We've been talking to a lot of folk for a very long time. And I think as the ETF got closer, you could see that the mood was shifting, right? Like they finally think, oh, okay, maybe now it's okay, or I can do more. Globally, you actually see a lot of the spillover effects for that, right? You see other geographies working on ETFs, products of their own, right? Europe has some. Hong Kong might launch one next week, I heard. These are all very positive because, we have clients that may either trade those or be a part of that ecosystem. When you're in the ETF, you have many players that support the issuance and maintenance and all that. So net, I think it's still very positive for the industry, but also for us.